Hi. I wanted to make this video since I graduated. I wanted to talk about my UX experience, what I'm doing, my plans and goals for 2024. Currently, I'm still unemployed, but since graduation, I have spent a lot of time applying to jobs, a lot of time on the computer, probably more than necessary, probably more than a person who actually is working a full-time position, because I had really bad work-life balance in the beginning. I did take a break after grad school because I honestly could not even open my laptop. And the thought of working on a portfolio and applying to jobs, I did apply to two, but just the thought of getting into that mode, I was just so drained. It was 2021, fresh out of lockdown, hours and hours on the computer in Zoom University was just drained me by the end. I started my search for jobs a little bit later, but I also really think the main reason why it has taken me a long time was my lack of experience, because I was a career transitioner. Though my background was in research, it was more academic research. I do have transferable skills because I have Blue Cove Productions, how to do storytelling. I know how to work on projects, work with people, design constraints, time limits, and all that stuff. A lot of these companies were really focusing on my cross-functional experience. If I worked with engineers, project managers, the nitty-gritty, I didn't. I did not have that engineering experience. And it wasn't until I started looking for a little bit more, because what I was doing was not working. I was getting screener, I don't even know how many screener calls. So my portfolio, my resume, me on paper was getting me to these companies, Spotify, a whole bunch of well-known companies. Once they, learned that I did not have engineer cross-functional experience, then it kind of was just a nail in the coffin. And so I was passed up on. I had a few portfolio presentations and everything, so I've had progressed. Never did a whiteboarding challenge, thankfully, but I did do take-home things. And of course, I've got ghosted, no replies, everything, you name it. Started looking into pro bono, thinking about doing hackathons, or even honestly, there's at one point where I was like, should I go into UX research? Or not been as picky. I was really picky, wanting to work in big tech. And, I still was looking at smaller companies, but in my mind, majority of the people that graduated from my program, but of course, it was different. COVID happened, lockdown, everything shifted to remote, but there was a high percentage of people who did work at big tech companies, or even medium size, or just, household names. And so that's kind of what I expected. And then even people in my graduating cohort, a few of them were working at bigger names and stuff. So I was just okay, yeah, I can't wait. But no, there was a few of us, and now it's mixed because layoffs and everything. There was a few of us that are still kind of the late bloomers, I guess. And then I think at one point, maybe I was the only one from my graduating class. And then there was people who were coming in after me. I think now they're on their second cohort after I graduated, where it's okay, now all these other people are getting jobs and I'm still here searching. And it's just what's going on? I started working with a nonprofit, which I did notice there's quite a few nonprofit companies that have popped up, and understand that there is a struggle for people who are transitioning into this field, because there's a lot more people that are UX designers than there are jobs. And that's because there's a lot of layoffs. There's a lot of people who are graduating from graduate programs and undergrad programs and boot camps and everything. So there's a lot of us, but there also are a lot of companies out there. And, once you stop aiming for FANG or big tech and all those other things, then you kind of see that, okay, there are other companies out there, or even contract work where you are working with these bigger companies. But I haven't had luck with contract work either. I've had a lot of contract work screener calls, but a lot of these people that reach out to me send me jobs that are way over my experience level. And I just know that they're just out there to hit a quota, sending out to everybody. At least in my experience, that's what it seems like. A year ago, and I worked 2 projects. There's a little space in between. And then I started working at a regular job to help me sustain a bit.
Oh my God, y'all. I just clocked out.
Which I encourage. And I struggled unnecessarily because I didn't want to just go work in a regular job. And the ones that I was applying to for like remote, they weren't getting back to me because like I don't have a lot of like I don't have sales experience or anything like that, which I was seeing where a lot of the remote jobs are customer service. I got hired for 2 jobs. One was more related because it was like a research interviewer at like a well-known medical company. Yeah, so I was working there, but there was kind of like even there, like the job industry was just affecting everything because then that position was on hold. And so everything just came to a halting stop this summer. I finished my second volunteer project in summer and wanted to take a break because that project was a bit intense. And so I took a break and I was just like, I'm ready now to start applying again. So I haven't done any more volunteer projects, though I think I may pick it back up if nothing comes about. I'm gonna give myself a goal. I'm gonna speak it out loud here. Like by February, if I don't have anything moving forward by February, then I will start doing volunteer projects again. Before, I'd always have this pressure on me where I was like, I'm running out of time. I could have already had like 2 years of experience. So I'm still coming in as a junior level, but I'm in a better position now than I was last year in December. And even before that of December 2021, because now I know where I am, how I fit in, how I design, and I'm doing different things. Like now I'm trying to build my brand. Like I have my YouTube brand and stuff, but now I'm trying to build my professional designer brand, be more active on professional social media building sites. That's a few things that I'm doing now, kind of shaking the fear of asking for help because for myself, I tend to have trouble asking for help. And I feel like that also on top of my lack of experience was, something that probably bit me in the butt in the long run where it's like I didn't want to ask for help or references. I did, end up asking for references after even getting rejections based on like references from people. Then I was just like, okay, I'm not asking for help for anyone else. Like I don't want to ask for their help and then I get rejected and it's just like, awkward or something, but who cares? They're not the one doing it. If you have friends working at companies, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to give you a referral and everything. If you're worried about putting yourself out there or how long it's taking for you to get a job, to just put yourself out there, I'm just now doing that. So I know it's easier said than done because it's hard. If you're already feeling defeated from a lot of rejections and ghosting and just, things not working out as you planned, then it's hard to like ask for help because you don't want to feel like a failure. But everyone, unless they live under a rock, they know what's going on with the job industry, the tech industry, return to office, remote working. Everyone knows that like things are changing and like there's so many layoffs. Easy to get wrapped up in negativity and like just feeling sorry for yourself and everything because, it hurts. Like it's hard to get constantly rejected and you start to develop imposter syndrome. Don't feel as good as you were when you started. But it's really important to have that work-life balance, which is what I did lack for a long time. And it wasn't until fall of this year where I was finally able to relax. I had a lot of stress from other aspects of my life. I took a real break for the first time where I was not job searching. I was not working on portfolio. I wasn't thinking about jobs for like 3 weeks, I think. And I was finally able to like get some actual good sleep for once, be able to clear my mind. I started journaling, doing things that helped lifted me up, my spirits, shedding any negativity in my life, and just really putting myself first for the first time and just really motivating myself in an authentic way. If you find yourself going through a rough patch right now, I really recommend you just taking 2 weeks off. And I know that not everyone has the privilege to do that. It is holiday season. I know that pretty soon companies are going to be taking breaks and everything. Can't take a complete break. Maybe just time box your time that you're going to spend working on portfolio or job searching. Another tip is finding another hobby or outlet. I am a film fanatic, but I also set out like a goal of new hobbies that I want to get into. Like I did a lot of walking and going outside and looking at nature, and it's just like reminds you like we're on this floating rock. If our access to the internet cut off or apocalypse happened, no one is going to be caring. I definitely recommend you building skills and interests that are outside of your professional skill building and professional hobbies. Going back to my point about referrals, just definitely networking. I joined a lot of design groups like Design Buddies, UX Collective, Ladies at UX Seattle, and I went to different events in person, so many like online events, mentor websites, ADP list, those other ones that I see posted on LinkedIn all the time. I hope to film a little bit more of my job searching, unemployment diaries, any tips that I come across. I hope to share it. So if you are also fresh into the industry, maybe you just got laid off, took time off and just now coming back and realized that the industry is a frenzy, and maybe if you just need an accountability buddy or someone that you know is going through the same stuff too, feel free to follow along. I don't know how frequently I'll put these out, but I do have a mix of things going on my channel. Monthly film diaries, I just started back up. I tend to do vlogs, and so now I'm just adding in a bit of career touch because why not? I might as well be vocal. It'll help keep me accountable. So I hope this keeps you accountable. I hope these helped. If you have any other topics, just want to hear any other advice from me, I'd be happy to talk about anything. I will figure something out. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your journey. I hope you have a happy and safe holiday season. Stay warm out there. Unless you're in Australia, stay cool. I'll see you next time. Thanks.